Hello and welcome Calculus 2 students to the fall 2020 semester. My name is Robert D. Giovanni. I'll be the instructor for the course. Just want to start out here with this video just to kind of get you acquainted with the way the course is going to work. You know, these are new days here with all this technology and probably not exactly what you had intended on doing for your fall semester. I'll join you in that sentiment. But here we are, we're going to do our best job to try and learn Cal 2. So what I'm doing first here is I'm kind of showing you what our main Canvas page is going to look like. So I'm assuming that you can get logged in through the Northwest Vista site to Canvas. And just so you know, I have two Cal 2 courses that I'm doing in this kind of it's not an internet course because we're actually going to meet twice a week and actually have like lectures and stuff. So I'm teaching two of those, section 004, which is my Monday, Wednesday class, and we will meet from 11 to 12:40. And then I also have another section, my section 009, and we're meeting on Tuesday, Thursday from 1 to 2:40. So this video is going to go out to both those courses just because I don't want to have to create another one. So anyway, this is right now I'm showing the Monday, Wednesday Canvas page, but I'll switch over to the other one. You can see they're pretty much the same. Let me switch over to my Tuesday, Thursday, and you'll see pretty much identical. I just copied stuff over. So first thing I want to talk about is communication. So if you've never used Canvas before, all of our official communication needs to take place using this inbox over here. So you click on that, and I'm pretty sure you can figure this out. This is your mail is on the left-hand side. Blue dot means you haven't checked it. And then if you want to create a message, you click here and then select the class and select, me, or if you're emailing a classmate or something. But the main thing here is there's where it is, and that this is our official means of communication. So let me get back now to the main page, and I'm gonna switch over to what's called student view, so it looks more like what you will see. I'll take all this other stuff out of here. All right, so this is our home page, and I will go through this as quickly as possible, but there's a picture here. That picture is actually important, but I'll get to that later. And there's a nice little quote that I've always just had burned into my head. Don't practice until you get it right, practice until you can't get it wrong. And of course my dog's gonna start yapping. I should say my wife's dog is gonna start yapping. Okay, so, I like that quote. There's a difference between, learning something and then being like, oh, I got it right, versus where you walk in and you like look at a set of problems and you have that confidence that you're not going to get it wrong. So there's a huge difference between those two ideas. So hopefully what you can shoot for in this class is to get to that point, practice and practice until you at least feel inside that you're not going to get it wrong. Below that, you'll see that there is a syllabus confirmation quiz. There's different due dates for depending on which class you're in. This is just a real quick one question, like, hey, I've read the syllabus, I understand the requirements of the course. Just take care of that. It's a free 100 on a quiz grade, so you'll want to do that. But it also means that you can't tell me later, well, I didn't know, and I'll point back to the syllabus and say, oh, it's right there, and then you told me you understood. So yeah, so we've got that. Oh, no, yeah, timeout. No. I haven't had time, I'm sorry. I mean, I've been very busy. Okay. Okay, so getting on down to the next thing, and I'm gonna go through and explain how we're gonna learn in here, but let me just click on the schedule. This is something that you're gonna wanna download to your computer and either have it always available to you or just print it out. I know not everyone has printer, but I'm sure you can be resourceful and figure out how to get a copy of this somehow. So this just kind of lays out the semester day by day. Right now we're looking at the Monday, Wednesday class. And I'll switch over to Tuesday, Thursday in a second. And it just shows like what I plan on covering each day. And then the homework problems. Now, I need to say something here. I'm not quite sure how we're going to do homework yet. And the reason is because by enrolling in this course, you've automatically paid for access to the electronic version of this book. And so because you have access to that, you also have access to a system that allows you to do homework online. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk to the class after the first meeting and see, would you all rather do like paper and pencil homework, or would you rather do homework online? And we'll just kind of talk about it as a class. So right now, what you're seeing in front of you is I'm expecting for you to do problems out of the book. And now you're not going to necessarily have a physical book, but you'll have an electronic version of the book where you can go look at these problems. That's the way I'd like to do it, but we'll see what the class feels like. As you can see with the Monday, Wednesday class, we've got a Labor Day holiday, and then exam 1, exam 2, exam 3, and then a final exam. Shows here when the last day to drop is. Why don't I go ahead and just bring up real quick the Tuesday, Thursday. So the only difference here with Tuesday, Thursday is that there's not a holiday up here, Labor Day holiday. However, there is a Thanksgiving holiday right here. So I believe both the Monday, Wednesday, and Tuesday, Thursday classes have the same number of class meetings. But this is the schedule. This is what I plan to try and follow. Every semester is different. Every class is different. We may get ahead. We may fall behind. You'll soon learn that in Cal 2, we don't have time. I mean, it's just, there's so much material in here. So we'll do our best to follow that schedule. All right. So now after that, we have our class lecture video. So we're going to be meeting in Zoom, which is going to be very much like this video where I'm sharing my screen, except I'll be able to see all of you, and we'll be meeting during our scheduled meeting times. And I'll be going through lectures and doing problems. Everything I do is going to be recorded, and you click on this link and you can go back and watch those videos later. So that's just, you know, if you miss class or if you want to just sit there and pay a little more attention to what we're doing and not writing everything down, then you can always go back and access that video later. Now, homework solution videos. As I showed you with that calendar, if I can bring that back up, there are problems that you're supposed to do out of the book. Well, over the past few years, I've made entire solution videos for those homework assignments out of the book. So I'm going to bring this up, brings you to my YouTube, one of my YouTube playlists. And what you can do is you can click on this, like 6.1 integration by parts. And what it's going to be is me up on a whiteboard working through all the homework problems. And now I say all of them. Sometimes I skip a few. I'll be quiet so you can see me actually work through the problem. And that way it's kind of like, you know, a solution manual, but a video solution manual. Again, I may skip a few problems, but I'd say 98% of problems I do. And these videos are long. I mean, if you look over here on the playlist, an hour, almost 2 hours, over 2 hours, almost 3 hours, almost 3 hours. You know, so there are a lot of problems that I did here, and it took me a long time, but that's a great resource for you. There's a right way and a wrong way to use these videos. The wrong way is to just sit there and watch them and be like, yeah, okay, yeah, I get that, I get that. The correct way to do it is to, you sit there with the problem, you try and work out the problem yourself and have the video there. And then if you get to a point where you've worked through a little bit, you can start watching the video and see if we're both kind of doing the same thing, and kind of use it as a reference instead of just watching me do it and saying, yeah, I got it, because it's very different when you try it yourself, of course, because you got to find the path, right? I'm obviously going to know the right way to go about the problem. So that's the little part of it that you're going to have to work on getting good at. So that's what I think is the right way to use the videos. But it's a great resource. It's there for you. And then I also have old lecture videos. So these are back. These were done over various years, but put them together in a playlist, and it just has all the, you can ignore where it says Tuesday, Thursday, 3 p.m. Just ignore that. What's important is what section it's covering. So if you want to go watch me do a lecture on partial fractions that I did back in 2017, then
I guess you can turn back.
It's me in front of a class going through
Multiply
problems. And the notes that I'm following here are the same notes that I'm going to be following when you and I are meeting in this Zoom sessions. When we meet, I'm going to be doing the same exact thing here. So if for some reason you can't make it, or I don't know, if you want to work ahead, you can start watching these videos ahead of time. It's just, again, another resource there for you. All right. So let's talk a little bit about how it's going to work. You're going to come in for your class meeting at the regular time, twice a week, and I'm going to be sitting here and I'm going to bring up lecture notes. So here's an example of lecture notes, and these are going to be provided to you so you can have them, either electronically or you could print them out if you wanted to. I have them in PDF format, and so I'll be working through these, and then anytime during the notes where I do an example, what I'll do is I'll bring up my little whiteboard here, and then I will sit here and work this problem out. So we'd be finding the antiderivative of x sine of 10x dx, and then I'd work through the problem. And you can always interrupt me and say, hey, I have a question, why'd you do it that way, blah, blah, blah. So that's basically the way the class is going to work. I'm going to come in here, I'm going to go through my notes, I'm going to work out problems. Sometimes I won't do these problems, sometimes I'll change them up because I know already I have videos of these from the past. So I'll just throw in different problems. And then, as we're working through the notes, I might get to a point where I'm like, okay, well, here's a problem, why don't you try this? And I will possibly break you all out into groups where you each go into your own individual rooms, and you can work through those problems on your own. And if some of you have the ability to bring up, like if you can write on your screen, if you have a tablet or something like that, then you can bring up a whiteboard in the Zoom room that you're in. Y'all can raise your hand so I can go join the room and answer questions. So there's a lot of different things that we can try. I have done this, at the end of spring and through the summer, I did use the Zoom, but not for a calculus class. So this will be interesting, not Cal 2. So this will be very interesting. I'm really hoping that we can get some engaging dialogue going on instead of me just sitting here working. I also really would prefer it if you're constantly streaming your video, not because I want to see you, but more because when I look up at a camera, I have 4 screens here. You can't see it, but I have the screen I'm writing on. I have the screen where I can bring up like who's here and any chat. Then the screen in front of me is going to have all your videos, so I can see you. And then I have another screen. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with that yet, but I want to be able to look up and see you engaged. I mean, that's as close as possible to being in a real classroom. So when I look up and all I see is a bunch of names without video feeds, sometimes I just sit there and wonder if I'm just sitting here talking to myself. So I'm going to encourage you, highly encourage you to use your video feed. And I don't know, maybe we'll even do bonus points. People love bonus points, but maybe if you always use your video, then I'll throw some bonus points in on a test or something. That'll get people thinking, right? Okay, so that's kind of how the class is going to work out as far as the learning is concerned. Now, in terms of the course, the grades and stuff, let's just go through the syllabus quickly. I'm trying to do this now so we don't have to spend so much time first day going through it. So the syllabus, it says here, when we meet, it gives you a link to the Zoom session. So every time you go to a class, you'll go to that same link and you'll use this same password. Now that link is different from my Monday, Wednesday, and Tuesday, Thursday class. So make sure you click on the one that's in your Canvas page. The password might change. If we start having problems where we start getting Zoom bombed, where people that are showing up that don't belong in the class or something, I might have to change the password. And if that's the case, then I'll just email you before class and let you know what the password is. But we'll continue to use that same link for every meeting. And then It has my contact information here. Don't worry about this email address. It's there, but really not going to use it because we're going to be using the Canvas email. And then I offer my cell phone number. This is my cell phone right there. So the way this works is if you ever have a question, you're working on a problem, you're stuck, you don't know what, I'm not getting it, something's wrong. What I ask is that you take a picture of the problem, make sure you get a picture of the problem, take a picture of your work, and then just text that to me. And then, I can write on my screen. I've got one of these, what is it, Samsung Note or something, where I can write and stuff, and I can doodle up your picture and find your mistakes, or I can just work the whole problem myself, and help you out. I also, might be able to just meet you on a Zoom session if I'm free. So I'm always available to you. Okay, now if I've been getting up earlier, going to bed earlier, so I don't know. I'm not going to tell you there's a cutoff time. I would say after midnight, I wouldn't expect to hear back from me right away. But always never feel like you're stranded alone. At least try and contact me. I do ask that if you text me, just make sure on that first text you tell me your name and what class you're in. That way I can have that. Next time you text me, I know who you are. Now, in terms of office hours, the way this can work with office hours is that I'm going to have Zoom sessions where I just come in here and I'm just like waiting for students to come and ask questions. And I have, they're all the same link, okay? And they're all the same password, okay? But they're different times. So 10 to 11 on Monday, Wednesdays, 1 to 2 on Monday, Wednesday, and then Tuesday, Thursday from 11 to 12:30. So that's when I'm available. You should be able to click on one of those, or click on the Zoom link, and you should be able to meet me in here. Now, if you do that, what's going to happen is you're going to come in, instead of coming straight into the session, it's going to put you in a waiting room. And then what I'll do is I'll kind of like let you in and then put you in a breakout room where it can just be one-on-one. If I have several Cal 2 students from the same class or something, I may put you all together. It just depends, but it's a little different because I'm going to be regulating like who's coming in and stuff like that. So just be aware of the times, and if you have any questions, we can clarify that later. Now, in terms of materials, you do not have to buy a book. Like I said, you paid for an electronic version of the book when you register for the class. So I will get you the information. I don't have it right now, but I will get you the information that you need that will take you to the place that you need to go to be able to access that electronic version of the book. Now, if you want to go buy the book, feel free. Okay, you can probably find it cheap, used book somewhere, because we've been using the same book for many years, and that's to try and keep the cost down for students. So like I said, you don't need it, but you can buy one if you'd like. It'll be an additional cost, to you. Now, in terms of objectives and outcomes and all that, these are all just kind of like cookie cutter things that we have to put in here. State of Texas tells us these are the things you have to cover. And all I'm going to say is that these outcomes, I mean, we have to cover these. Like, we have to try and get through this material, and that's one of the biggest challenges in Cal 2, is there's just so much here. So I always like to think of it as it's almost like a sprint, but like a sprint marathon. Like, we just have a lot to do, and at the end it gets harder. So it's not like one of those things where the class, has this point where you can kind of take a breath. It's always foot on the gas. So the grading, the way it's going to work is that we're going to have a few quizzes, not many, because quizzes with this format online, it's really hard to do quizzes. But I am going to offer some opportunities, maybe in these breakout sessions where I put you in rooms together and ask you to work on a problem. I may do something there, where that's a quiz. Other than that, everything's going to be exams. And I've messed up. All these exams are at home. None of them are on campus. So I'm going to need to fix that. But you have 3 exams and then a final. Exam 4 is like a final exam. You can see they're pretty heavily weighted. Like, you need to do well on each of these exams. You could probably mess one up, but if you do bad on 2, it's going to be real hard to recover. So now the way exams will work, I'm going to go through and explain. I might try some different things. I mean, for right now, I think what you should expect is just a traditional paper and pencil test. And let me just get to how that's going to work. Attendance, I do expect that you will join the Zoom sessions at our scheduled meeting times. I'll keep track of who came. I'll do a little screenshot of the participant list and take roll that way. If you miss more than 4 meetings, then you could be given a failing grade in the course or dropped from the class. Behavior, just, you know, keep it, you know, professional, I guess. You know, make sure you're muting your microphone if there's stuff in the background. Make sure you're dressed appropriately. I'm not sure what that means, but you know what I'm saying. Don't show up, you know, just coming out of the shower with a towel. You know, I mean, just like you would in a normal class, present yourself in a manner that would be appropriate. Now, the exams. So, like I said, I might try some different things, but right now, here's what I think we're going to do. You'll come into the classroom, the Zoom session, and at the scheduled meeting time for that test. And then what I'm going to do is, as soon as people get there, I'm going to email everyone a copy of the exam. Then what you'll do is you will, since some people will be able to print it out because you have a printer, some people don't have printers. So I have to give everyone time to copy the problems down. So you'll copy the problems down, and then at that point, your computer has to be turned off. You can't have a computer screen in front of you, okay, that's on. So I'll give everyone a chance to copy the exam or print it out, and then on separate paper, you'll start working on the exam. Now, during the exam, like I said, you can't have a computer screen turned on in front of you. So you have to have a camera that's set up in a way that I can see not only you, but the work environment around you. And that's why I think that for the exams, it would be very useful if you used your cell phone and use the Zoom app on the cell phone. You can't see my phone, there it is. Oh, it's like, it's missing, there it is. Okay, so if you use the Zoom app on your phone, then you can set your phone up, you know, wherever you want. And this is what I'm looking for. This picture here is what I'd like to see from you. Okay, this is, whoa, what happened? Okay, there we go. So this is a picture I took with my phone of me, and this is what I want to see for the exams. I want to be able to see you in the frame. I want to be able to see your work area. I want to be able to see what's in front of you and to the side of you. Of course, these computer screens would be turned off, and you'd work through the entire exam. And there's no exceptions to this. You have to be able to set up your video this way. So if that means moving your laptop over to the side, whatever, but you have to stay on camera like this. If, you know, I don't want to see this. Let me move like that right there. Just showing me that much of you doesn't work, okay? Because I can't tell what's in front of you. So what I'm trying to do here is to create a level playing field. I want everyone to be, you know, using their brains and doing the best they can without any other resources that wouldn't be fair to everyone else. So it says in here, you've got to have this position and that I will be recording you during the exam. So whatever video feed you have, I will be recording. Now, once you finish the exam, what you're going to do is you're going to bring up the chat that we have here in Zoom. So I'm going to bring that chat window in here. So you'll bring up the chat and you will send, not everyone, you'll send just me a little thing that says, hey, I'm done with the exam. At that point, you are free to get your phone or whatever and move things around. And what you have is 15 minutes from when you finish the exam. You have 15 minutes to get all of your handwritten work that you've just done on your test. You've got to somehow get all of that either scanned or take pictures with your phone of your work. You need to somehow condense all of those files into a single PDF file, and then you will send that to me using a Dropbox link that I will give you. And you'll have 15 minutes to do it. Now, don't freak out because we will practice this before we actually get to an exam date. So everyone will know, you know, what works best for them. If you're using an iPhone, I think there's a way to do it. If you're using Android, there's other ways. If you have a scanner, then great. But the thing is, single PDF file of all of your work. Let me show you an example of some students' work from the summer. I had, Okay, so here's an example. The student used something called Cam Scanner, and you can see their work here. Notice that it's all one file, okay, but each page is here, and you can see I've graded it. And so what's going to happen is you're going to send that to me as a single file, and then I'm going to open it, I'm going to write on it, and then I'm going to post your grade in Canvas, and then in the Canvas I can attach my graded version of your test to the grade so that you can click it and you can review what you got right and wrong. So yeah, that's pretty much the way the exams are going to work. Again, you'll have 15 minutes to do that. If you don't have your camera set up properly during a test, I'm not going to sit there and interrupt everyone and be like, hey, Joe, you know, move your camera. Like, I'll let everyone know at the beginning, like, okay, cameras are good, everyone's good to go. But if I have to keep telling you, like, hey, you know, your camera's moved or you're off camera now, if I have to keep on dealing with that during a test, I'm just going to remove you from the room and you'll take a 0 on the test. And that's just the way it'll be. So you've got to have your camera set up and you've got to send it to me as a single PDF. If you don't, 0, okay? So if you send me 12 pages, 12 individual pictures, files, I won't even look at it. I know that seems hardcore, but same standard for everyone. It's your responsibility to be sure that whatever file you do send to me includes all your work. So I've had this happen where a student sends me a file and it's missing 2 pages. Well, I'm not going to know that until I grade it. And so if I go back to you and say you're missing work, now you can turn it in late, but then that gives you more time than everyone else. It's not fair. So again, I can only accept what you submit in that original file. That's it. So make sure that you look at that file before you send it to me. And like I said, I'll hand grade all the exams and then send them back to you. Okay, tutoring. There's some tutoring that you can get. These are basically like online office hours, kind of like my office hours, but they're tutors that will be available to you. I need to double check these times and links because this was for the summer. These things haven't been updated yet, so I can't really give you for sure. But by the time you get in here on Monday or Tuesday, whatever, these things should be updated. Okay, the rest of this is just kind of like stuff we have to have in here, and then there's another version of your calendar and institutional policies, blah, 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 blah. All right, so that's your syllabus. See if there's anything else here. There's some other stuff over here. There's a discussion board if you want to have discussions with your classmates, you can set up study sessions, whatever, go into Zoom and set up Zoom meetings with each other to study, whatever. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, there's not a whole lot more that I want to actually go through in this video. Is just kind of give you an introduction as you know how things are going to work. I'm sure there will be questions when we get started next week. You don't know it's next week, but that's when I see you next live. I'm sure you'll have some questions. So for now, enjoy what's left of your break, and I shall see you soon. Let me turn off my recording here. Y'all have a good day.